All right, so let's talk about video views. Video views is an incredibly important marketing objective, probably one of the most important marketing objectives for a number of reasons, right? People don't use video, guys, because it's harder. And think about that for a second. People don't use video because it's harder. It's hard to make a good quality video ad. It's hard to make good quality video. You have to have the skills or the equipment, right? And that's all complete excuses. You can make a beautiful Facebook video ad with your iPhone, right? This iPhone has amazing cameras. It has more computing power than the freaking first, spaceship that went to the moon. And so, people who say that they don't have the equipment, that's just complete hogwash, in my opinion. Video views are incredibly important, especially now. They're by far, the highest converting. They generate 1,200% more shares than text and images combined, and they have the highest click-through rate of any ad type, right? It's becoming more and more and more important. And something that's really important about video views, guys, or video ads in general, is Facebook default mutes videos on your feed. So like when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed, it's super important to understand this, right? And start to get in the mindset of an advertiser rather than just like a consumer. And so when you're viewing and you see an ad pop up and it's a video ad, what catches your attention, right? Because it's defaulted mute. Because it would be crazy if they had this sound on your Facebook, because everything would just be blowing up at you and it would be way too overwhelming. So it's an absolute requirement when you create video view campaigns, or you create a video that you intend to use as an ad on Facebook, that you have subtitles, right? Think of creating Facebook video ads as if it's a silent film, because it's just so important. 85% of videos happen on mute. And you can incorporate design and make your video look super, super slick using subtitle bars, and you can use subtitles with different colors. And we're going to show you awesome examples of what that kind of looks like. Here's an example. Watch me build a Facebook ad evergreen funnel, right? And this just exists as a little subtitle bar on the actual video itself, and it's super easy to do that in any type of video editing software like Camtasia or any type of Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro and things like that. So let's talk about the actual types of videos. So the best types of ad videos for Facebook generally kind of go into three categories. There's the short video snippets, right? 0 to 30 seconds. There's kind of the traditional 30 seconds to 2 minutes, and the long, kind of like the educational, where you're really teaching something simple, really to get somebody interested in the value that you could potentially add to their life. So those are kind of the main three. And something that's really important to keep in mind here, guys, is remember when we looked at custom audiences, one of the coolest parts about video ads on Facebook is that you can create custom audiences of people who view a certain number of seconds of your video, or people who view a certain percentage of your video. So if somebody watches 50% of your video ad, you can know for sure that they're much more interested in what you have to offer than just the general person out there, right? And so if you create custom audiences of people who watch 25% of your video, or custom audiences of people who watch 50% of your video, then you can really use the video view campaign to get a really cheap kind of meter or measurement of people who are interested, because the video view campaign is so much cheaper than the conversion campaign. It's like a cent a view versus $1 to $3 per click on the conversion campaign. And so when you're advertising to cold audiences, what would you rather use? Right, the video view campaign, where you don't know if these people are interested. You've done your best guess to target interest that they're probably interested in and things like that. But if you're advertising to a cold audience, would you rather use video views, which is a cent a view, or conversions, which is up to $3 or more per click? Right? And I think you guys are probably starting to get it now, where video views are such an incredible way of showing your ad to a ton of different people for a really, really cheap every view. And then what you do is you create custom audiences of people who've viewed 25% or 50% of your video, and then that they're significantly more interested than the average person, and then you can run conversion campaigns on them. It's such as much of a science as it is an art, and that's the beautiful part of Facebook advertising, right? So the three parts of an awesome video ad on Facebook. Number one is the hook. The hook is the single most important thing with all types of video on the internet. Think about people as goldfish, right? Most people have busy days. They have people calling them, their husband or wife, you just spilled coffee, boiling hot coffee on their pants, or their baby's crying, or their dog just peed. There's just things going on. It's a chaotic world out there. They have so many, notifications and just things happening that if you don't catch someone's attention in the first 3 seconds of a video, you've lost them. Right? It's the same thing with the copy. That's why we start out with like, wait, or, in the beginning of a lot of successful videos on Facebook, video ads on Facebook start with, turn your sound on. And there's like somebody like, super animated, like going ham, trying to get your attention. Because if you don't disrupt that pattern, right? The pattern interrupt, then you've lost that person. And the hook is so, so important. We've run really successful video ads where we'll be just burning money, like big stacks of money. And we're not burning like real money, but you can get prop money on Amazon for $20 for a $10,000 bill, which is what a lot of the influencers and gurus out there, show all their money. It's actually this prop money. But if you burn a stack of $10,000 that look like $100 bills, you get someone's attention, right? And so there's beautiful ways to do the hooks. And we're going to show you, amazing marketers out there like the Harmon brothers and people that I follow very, very closely. We're going to show you how to kind of emulate and get inspiration from top tier marketers of the world, and how to kind of translate that into your own business, and more importantly, how to do it on a budget, even if you don't have ridiculous video skills or like videographer teams and things like that. We're going to show you how to do it on the bootstrap budget, but seriously, that just freaking works like crazy. Number 2 is the meat, right? Your video must educate, entertain, and demonstrate. So if you're not entertaining, if you're not passionate, if you don't have energy, no one is going to pay attention to you, even if you're like teaching them the craziest things in the entire world that they've never even heard about in their entire lives, right? And so if you're not doing one of those 3 things, then no matter how educational, your video content is, if you're not entertaining to people, you've already lost them, because there's so many different options that people have that realistically, you have to be entertaining, you have to be passionate, you have to, love and really actually, have some type of meaning behind what you're saying. And number 3 is the call to action. You have to tell people what they're supposed to be doing, whether it's viewing your training or buying your product or clicking the button below, right? People like to be told what to do. People like to be given directions. People like to follow leaders, especially ones who are gonna give them something of value kind of for their lives. So make sure that you have the hook, the meat, and the call to action, telling people what they actually should be doing. At the end of the video, if you want them to register for your free webinar, say that. If you want them to click the learn more button, say that, right? Make it very, very easy and frictionless for them to kind of move down your sales funnel and continue on to kind of do what the action, and click the action, the call to action that you want them to actually do. Do not ever kill yourself trying to reinvent the wheel, guys. This is such an important point in every part of entrepreneurship. I mean, in Facebook ads, obviously, it has huge implications as well. But in every part of entrepreneurship, trying to reinvent the wheel, trying to create the next big thing, when there's so much money to be made and there's so many ways to kind of get your piece of the pie, without having to take all of these unnecessary risks. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel, especially with advertising, guys. There's so much content out there from a marketing perspective. It's crazy. And so, one of the things that I want you guys to take away from this module and from this course in general is to, use other expert marketers and people who've proven themselves to be expert marketers by, generating large followings, or if they have the #1 best Facebook ads video in the world on YouTube. But look at the masters of clickbait. Look at the people who are really making it work and generating a huge amount of buzz for their videos, and then find inspiration from it. And so one of the people who does a fantastic job, or one of the companies who do a fantastic job of this, is BuzzFeed. And so, look at some of their videos that they have on here. What's working? Look at their backgrounds. Look at their thumbnails. Let's watch one of them. Give your coffee the star treatment. So waiting for your coffee waiting for your coffee, like, and they have like the little prayer emojis or whatever those are. And so it's good, right? People have this similarity that people can share when they're waiting for their coffee in the morning, and it's just funny and it's viral. And like, you know, look at their thumbnail. I thought this was a rocket taking off, and they have emojis and things like that. And so, you know, whenever I'm looking for inspiration of what kind of gets viral attention, like look at these numbers. Some of these are crazy. 1.9 million views on this, 5 million views, 516,000, 804,000, right? They understand kind of how to you know, really get attention on Facebook, and they understand what goes viral and what gets shared and things like that. And so I always look at the people who are doing it the best, and I see, okay, what can I take from them? Like maybe I can, you know, use some of the elements of their thumbnail, or maybe, you know, I can use kind of the organization of how they organize their videos, or I'm looking at, you know, their hooks, or I'm looking at, you know, what they're teaching and how they're teaching it and things like that. And so find the people in your specific niche on Facebook, on YouTube, on Google, on the internet who are doing it the best. Find the advertisements that they're using, right? Find the videos that they're using, find their pages on Facebook and go through them, find their Instagrams and things like that. And, you know, use them for inspiration to create your own content. Don't ever let yourself just sit there with your wheels turning or having, you know, creative paralysis or writer's block and things like that, guys. There's so much content out there. There's so much inspiration. And, you know, one of the big parts of this course that I'm going to try as hard as I can to do is to kind of teach everyone, you know, the best places to look and get inspiration from and things like that. Again, so we talked about having subtitles. You know, Facebook does have an auto subtitling feature, but it's kind of glitchy, and you know, it's still rolling out. Not every ads or business manager account has access to it, and so a really cheap alternative is called Rev.com. And so basically what they do is they do transcription, captions, translation, right, for $1 a minute, which is incredibly cheap and very, very efficient and effective. And you can even do translation if you like have a really successful ad and you wanted to run it in like Spain, for example, or Germany or whatever. You can get it translated and then you can get it transcribed, right? And so again, saying, hey, turn on your sound, like turn on your sound. People like get, you know, if you can interrupt their habits, the pattern interrupt on Facebook is so important, especially with video. Works really well. And you know, you can literally tell people what they're watching before they view any content with this subtitle bar, right? And so if you have like a real estate video that says like, and you know, the point of the video, and you're a real estate agent, for example, is you want to, you know, give first-time home buyers a cheat sheet. Say like the 3 tips that all first-time home buyers can't like live without, or something like that. And you can tell people before they even view a second of the content what the video is actually going to be about. And this is a fantastic way of kind of educating people of you know, the ways that you know, they're going to actually be interacting with the content. And this is it's a great way to kind of save people time, because you can tell somebody in a second what your 6-minute video is about when most people are not going to watch it. But if you tell them and you target them correctly with this subtitle bar, they will actually pay attention, and then you're going to really increase that amount of time that people are going to watch the videos, which makes your custom audiences larger, which makes your conversion campaigns more accurate, right? So it's like a whole iterative process. So that is the video view campaign, and there's a lot in that one because I think it's incredibly important. Your introduction into the video view campaign marketing objective. It's one of the most important on Facebook. It's one of the ones that we're going to dive the deepest into when we get to the section where I'm actually creating a complete Facebook ad from start to finish with all of the copy, all of the headlines, you know, how to create the video itself, how to create your imagery, right? How to write headlines that convert. We're going to go through all of that super in depth, but it's so important that we develop a very strong kind of base foundation infrastructure that we can build on top of, right? So that is the video views marketing objective. One of my favorite, one of the most effective, one of the cheapest and most efficient ways to reach the largest audience and to find people that are incredibly interested in what you have to say, which is the point of all of this, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and let's get to the next.